All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to Cal State LA's video guide to Campus Academic Advisement Report, otherwise known as CAAR, C-A-A-R. So you might be wondering, why should I learn how to use CAAR? Well, if you're a student, of course, it comes in handy because you can use that to track your progress. You can also verify information, and you can also check graduation eligibility. Academic advisors use your CAR all the time just to check to see where you're at. Also, the graduation office also uses CAR to run their audits to make sure that you meet all the requirements to graduate you. So let's get started. So to access CAR, basically, I'm going to assume that you have access to your My Cal State LA portal. So just go on to the Cal State LA website, calstatela.edu, and then on the top bar, you're going to see a My Cal State LA link. So go ahead and click on that, log into your portal. Once you log in, what you want to do is go into the Get account. So just find the Get icon, go ahead and click on that. You might need to do that two-step authentication. But once you're here, go ahead and click on your Student Center. So your Student Center is going to look something like this. And basically, you'll see your classes here. So you guys should all be familiar with your Student Center. And to access the Campus Academic Advisement Report, what you want to do is under Academics, you want to go down to the drop-down menu, go ahead and click on that, and look for the academic requirements. So this is what you want to run. So go ahead and select that, click on that little go icon. So now it's going to take you here, and this is your CAR, basically. It's your Campus Academic Advisement Report. Sometimes advisors might just call it CAR. Sometimes they'll just say Advisement Report, but this is what they mean. So on your Advisement Report, it has a lot of information. So I'm going to start from the left side. It has your career, your undergraduate, and you want to go into plan. So plan is your major. So in this case, they're doing a BS, which is a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. And there's also another piece of information, and that's the department that it's under. And also has a sub-plan, and that is the option in finance. So that's the same thing as a concentration. Okay, so basically, the student's major is BSBA, which is a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, and their option is finance. So that's how you read that. You also see another piece of information, and that is the catalog term. Sometimes we just call it the catalog year or the requirement term. So as you can see, this student's requirement term is fall 2025. And that's because when you apply, to the university, if you apply in fall 2025, that is your catalog year. And that is important because catalog years might have different requirements. So if you're on the older catalog year, your requirements might be a little bit different. But in this case, this students is the 2025 catalog year. So their requirements are based on 2025. There's some other information here. It tells you their last term registered, your academic standing. Basically, if your GPA is fine, it's going to be good. If you go below 2.0, you might be on academic notice. So keep that in mind. There's also your overall GPA and your Cal State LA GPA. So overall GPA is your cumulative GPA from all college work you've done. So if you are transferring in from a community college, or if you went to a different 4-year and whatever classes you take here at Cal State LA, that will all be included in the overall GPA. Cal State LA GPA is only classes taken here at Cal State LA. And those two GPAs are important because you need a 2.0 in both of them to graduate. All right, so moving right along. So down here, you can see a legend. You're going to see the little check mark. You see the little diamond for in progress. And if you are using Degree Planner and you plan out your courses and you run the advising report plan, you'll see the plan courses. Of course, for many students, especially new students or even freshmen, you're going to see the red boxes. Those mean that you haven't taken those courses yet. If you're a transfer student, you're going to see that little arrow in some of your classes. That means it was transferred in from either a community college or another college that you transferred from. Right? So just keep a note of that legend. So moving right along, as you can see here, you can expand your CAR or you can collapse it. So in this example, I'm going to collapse it. It just makes everything a little bit tighter, neater, so you can see everything. And I'm going to go over, in detail all of these little categories, okay? But for a student, you do want to focus on a few categories. Of course, each one is important because you need, to know each one. That way you can figure out if you're going to graduate or if you're missing something. But for students, generally, the more important ones, because it contains the classes, are going to be the university requirements, the lower division GEs, the upper division GEs, and of course, the major courses. So I'm going to talk a bit about that. So there are different categories of courses you need to take to obtain your degree here. You have to take courses that fulfill university requirements. Of course, you have to take courses that fulfill general education, or we call them GEs, your general education requirements. And of course, you need to fulfill courses that fulfill your major requirements. Just remember that. So there's kind of different categories of courses you need: university requirements, GEs, and major requirements. So I'm going to just discuss the categories from the top down. So here you have ungraded courses. So if you are enrolled in classes and for fall, of course, they're not graded yet. So you'll see those classes in here under the ungraded, and you'll see it. I'm going to go back up here with that little diamond next to it because that course is in progress. So if you are enrolled in fall courses for this semester, you're going to see your courses here, and you're going to see that little diamond, meaning that it's in progress. So that's pretty straightforward. So the next one, so let me close this up so that it stays nice and neat. So the next one is undergraduate general degree unit/GPA requirements. So if you open that up, it's pretty straightforward. It's going to tell you your total units that you need for your degree. So for all degrees, pretty much, you need 120 units minimum. If you go over, that's okay. But if you are under 120, you won't be able to get your degree until you fulfill at least 120 units. So that's pretty straightforward. And then they go over some unit requirements. So, 40 units upper division, and then you'll see 30 units required in residence. So what in residence means is that those 30 units have to be completed here at Cal State LA. So for example, if you've taken courses and you transfer them in, those are not considered in residence. Also, if you study abroad through the study abroad program from Cal State LA, those are also not considered in residence. So keep that in mind. And then also here, you have 24 upper division required courses in residence. And I'll talk a bit about the difference between lower division and upper division courses. I mentioned them a few times already. But I'm going to just move on. I'll come back to that. And also grade point average. Like I said earlier, you need at least a 2.0 GPA for your overall coursework. That's your overall GPA, and you need at least a 2.0 GPA for your Cal State LA coursework. And later down, we'll talk about major GPA. That one, you also need at least a 2.0 in your major to graduate. All right, so I'm going to talk a bit about university requirements. So let's open that up. So when you see university requirements, we have the American Institution. That is basically 2 classes. That is your U.S. History course and also your U.S. Constitution and California state and local government. So this is key here, right? Because a lot of students might have taken a U.S. Constitution class out of state. It'll count towards U.S. Constitution, but they'll still have to retake the class here to cover that California state and local government requirement. Okay, so if you've taken the U.S. Constitution out of state, keep in mind you'll probably need to repeat it again because you're missing that California state local government attribute. Next, we have the diversity requirement. So you do need 2 courses for the diversity requirement. One is the race ethnicity. So one of those diversity courses have to be a race ethnicity course. And then the other course could be either another race ethnicity course or a diversity course. All right, so you get that. So one has to be race ethnicity. Your second diversity course could be another race ethnicity, or it could be a diversity course. So if you take 2 diversity courses, that's not going to work. You still need at least 1 race ethnicity course. And the way you take these courses, or these are actually attributes or part of a GE. So when I start talking about the GE courses, I'll show you how you can find some of those race ethnicity courses or diversity course. But these courses are attributes within GEs. Same thing here with the civic learning. As you can see, you have a civic learning requirement. It's a upper division civic learning requirement. So I'm going to talk a bit about upper division and the difference between lower division. So lower division course at Cal State LA are like 1 first year and second year courses. So they're going to be in the course numbering of 1,000 or 2,000. So if you see a course and it's in the 1,000 level or 2,000 level, those are lower division courses. Upper division courses are third and fourth year courses. So they are going to be numbered 3,000 or 4,000 level. So if you see a 3,000 level course or a 4,000 level course, those are upper division courses. So as you can see here, we need a civic learning, but not just any civic learning. We need a upper division civic learning. So that means this civic learning course is an attribute and it has to be coming from a 3,000 level or a 4,000 level course. So just keep that in mind. We also have university writing requirements. You have the writing intensive requirement, which is also indicated by WI. And we also have the graduation writing assessment requirement, or GWAR or GWAR. So you do need these requirements in order to graduate. So these courses are going to be implemented either into one of your GEs or one of your major courses. The GWAR is going to be usually a upper division course. So keep that in mind. And when you take that GWAR course, make sure you get a C or better so that it satisfies GWAR. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the lower division GEs. So remember I mentioned lower division GEs are 1,000 and 2,000 level courses. If you are a freshman, these are the courses your advisors told you to enroll in for this semester. If you are a transfer student, all these hopefully should have been done already. So you'll probably see check marks, but if you're a freshman, you'll probably see some diamonds and a lot of red, but that's normal. So I'm going to go over the GE requirements. So area 1 is the English requirement. So of course, 1A, English composition, 1B, critical thinking, 1C, oral communication. Pretty straightforward. So 3 classes, right? 1 English, 1 critical thinking, 1 oral communication. So that's pretty straightforward. Then we have GE area 2, and that's a math course. So just 1 math course, and that'll fulfill your GE math requirement. And remember, these are all lower division classes. So you're probably taking them now, or if you're a transfer student, those are all done already. Okay, area 3, arts and humanities. So 3A arts, 3B humanities, pretty straightforward. And also area 4, social and behavioral sciences, complete 2 courses, 2 different disciplines required. So usually for most students, you need the social behavioral sciences classes, but I am gonna show you a trick, or not really a trick, but usually for students under this catalog year, the fall 2025, one of these social science courses can be double counted from your US Constitution course. All right, and I'll show you how to find what these courses are, because I know it's still confusing. You're just like, oh, what are all these numbers? What does that course mean? How do I find an art course? How do I find a humanities course? I'll show that to you. So I'm going to go over the rest of this, and I'll show you how to find these courses in the course catalog or electronic catalog. So next is area 5, which is the sciences, physical and biological science. So you have the area 5A, which is physical science, kind of like earth sciences, chemistry, physics, stuff like that. And then we have the 5B, biological science, pretty self-explanatory, biological sciences. And then right here, 5C, a laboratory. So sometimes you don't want to listen to your friends because based on your catalog years, these requirements might be different. For example, if you came a year earlier, you would be on the fall 2024 catalog year. And in that catalog year, you would actually need 2 science courses and 2 laboratories. But for fall 2025, so, students who are freshmen, this is their first semester, they're under the fall 2025 catalog. You only need 2 science courses and 1 lab. So remember, prior to fall 2025, it was 2 science courses and 2 labs, but now it's 2 science courses and 1 lab. So keep that in mind. So don't listen to your friends. Your friends might be telling you you need 2 labs, but if you're under fall 2025 catalog year, it's only 1 lab. So the last lower division GE is the ethnic studies. So it's just 1 ethnic studies class for the rest of the lower division GE requirements. So now I'm going to talk about how to find these courses, right? You're going to see 1A, 1B, like what's that, right? How do I find that class? So I'm going to show you how to access the Cal State LA electronic catalog. So basically, it's just called eCatalog.calstatela.edu. Okay, so you want to copy this, and I'll leave that up here. Maybe I'll change the color a little bit darker so you can see it better. eCatalog.calstatela.edu. So what you want to do, just go ahead and open up a new browser. Just copy paste that. I'm going to go to the catalog, and I'm going to show you how to find those GE classes, right? So this is the E catalog. So what you want to do is go down where it says the general education program. Go ahead and click on that. It's going to take you to the GEs. And what you want to look at are the lower division GE courses, right? GE lower division courses. So go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, area 1A, 1B, right? So if you scroll down, you can see what those classes are. So most of you are in your English class. You might be in English 1005A, that's fine. After you finish 5A, then you take 5B, and that 5B will finish your English composition. Or some of you might be in English 1010, and that's gonna finish up your English composition. So as you can see here, let's go back up here. So you see the 1A is referring to these courses here. 1B, critical thinking, is referring to these courses here. And then, of course, you have the 1C, oral communication, your math. Your advisor will tell you what math to take. Based on your major, we want you taking certain maths. So you guys should hopefully be in your math course this semester if you are a freshman. Remember, if you're a transfer student, you probably already took that at your community college, so don't worry about that. I'm just showing you guys how to look up what these codes mean, right? So if you want to take an art course, go ahead to that and look at the art. And as you can see, some of these courses have RE in front of it, or a D, or a WI. The RE is race ethnicity. So let me go back to the requirements. So remember, I'm going to scroll back up to the university requirements. Remember, you needed a race ethnicity course. So RE is the race ethnicity. The D is the diversity. So I'm going to go back to the general education. So if you take a course that has a RE, that's going to cover your race ethnicity. And then you just need either one more RE or one more D to satisfy that other diversity requirement. So hopefully that's pretty clear. So that is the lower division GE. So you can use this catalog to see what the art courses are, what the humanities courses are. If you scroll down more, you can see the social behavioral science courses. Scroll down more, you can see the science courses, okay? And of course, the labs. And then of course, your ethnic studies courses, right? So this is how you find those courses. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the upper division GE. So I'm going to go back to the general education. Let me click on back. So right here has the upper division GE courses, right? So remember, there's 3 different categories. Oh, I don't think I've talked about that yet. So let's go back and talk about the upper division GE courses. So here they are, your upper division general education requirements. So there's 3 courses students usually have to take, one in the science or math, one in the arts or humanities, and then one in the social and behavioral sciences. So these are upper division GEs. So remember, I'm going to scroll back up. So remember in the university requirements, we also have the upper division civic learning course. So you want that civic learning attribute in your upper division GE course. That way you can take one course and cover 2 requirements. So when you take one of these courses, make sure it is the upper division GE with the civic learning, with the CL. So I'm going to go back to the catalog that's showing me the upper division courses. As you can see here, this one's the math one. If I scroll down, I'm going to go to the arts and humanities one. As you can see, some of these courses have CL. And then if I keep going down, I'm going to reach the social and behavioral sciences GEs. So these are all the upper division GEs. So remember, we want one with a CL. So let me go back here. If you are a business major, if you are doing business administration or computer information systems, you are lucky because 2 of these upper division GEs are double counted in your major. Typically for business administration students and also computer information students, you don't need to do the science or math and the arts and humanities because those 2 are double counted in your major course. But you still need a social and behavioral sciences course. So when you take this course, it's going to be in here, social and behavioral sciences. Make sure it has a CL. And also, if you still need to complete the race ethnicity or diversity, make sure it has that too. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Also, if you're not a business major or not a computer information systems major, double check with your advisor. You might have some other GEs that double count in the major. So ask your advisor that. You really want to ask them. So let me backtrack and go back up. So some of these GEs you do want to keep an eye on. So for example, under the area one, you see this comment right here. You do need a C minus or better to pass these courses. Also with the math, you do need a C minus or better to pass your math. If it doesn't indicate anything, that means for the other GEs, even a D minus is considered passing. Just do not fail the course. But of course, you do want to do better than these because remember, if your GPA isn't high enough, you're not graduating. So keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to go back down. So now we get to talk about the major courses. So in this example, remember they're doing BSBA, Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. So I'm going to open that up. And this is going to show me the core classes. So these are the core classes for the business administration major. So there's 4 lower division courses. Keep in mind, major courses, if you get a D minus, is usually considered passing. You can move on, but remember, you need to keep that GPA up if you want to graduate. Also, I'm going to make a note. If you are doing business administration and you are an accounting major, your accounting courses, all your accounting courses must be a C or better. If you get a C minus and you are an accounting major, you have to repeat that accounting course. It's very important. So just keep that in mind. All right, so now we have the upper division major courses. So these are the core classes, right? So all of business administration, you guys share the same core classes. So these 5 lower division core classes are the same, and these 10 upper division core classes are the same. Remember, we mentioned earlier as one of the university requirements was the writing intensive course and the CAAR, right? So business 3050 for business and CIS majors, and even if you're doing the Bachelor of Arts in Economics, the BA Econ, business 3050 is your writing intensive course, and it is your CAAR course, the GWAR. Right, the graduation writing assessment requirement. So you need to get a C or better in the business 3050. So remember that. So now those are the core courses. So now I'm going to go into your option courses. So remember BSBA, the cores are the same. But depending on your concentration or what we call options, then these courses will be different. So these are, in this example, this student is doing the option in finance. So these are the finance required courses. So there's 4 required courses. And of course, the electives are also required. But since they're electives, the student gets to choose which one they want to take. So you can see here, the student needs to complete 3 electives. So pick any 3 from this list and you're good to go. So you pass all those classes, you pass all your major courses, right? You pass all your upper division GE courses and you complete all the university requirements, then you might be good to graduate. But you also need to double check those units. If you are under 120 units and you completed all the major requirements, all the university requirements, and all the GE requirements, but you're still lacking units, you still need to complete extra units just to reach the 120 unit minimum. So keep that in mind. If you need extra units, you will see that on your degree planner, but it's going to be labeled free electives. So free electives just means you just need additional units just to reach the 120 unit minimum requirement. If you go over, that's fine. You can go over, but you can't be under and graduate. You need at least 120 units minimum. All right, so almost done talking about the CAAR. So it's the last little tab here. So this one's talking about the major units and the GPA requirements, right? So of course, in your major, you have to have certain number of units in residence. So this will tell you if you're meeting that, right? So you need at least 12 units in residence in your major here. And of course, you need at least a 2.0 GPA in your major. So as you can see that here. And free electives, remember I mentioned those already. So those free electives, they might not be covering a major requirement or a GE requirement or a university requirement, but you might need them just to fulfill unit requirements. So any class you take that is not fulfilling a GE, a university, or a major requirement, you're going to see it here, but they will still count towards the units. So that's pretty much it for the CAAR. So hopefully that's clear. And if you are a transfer student, all your lower division courses should be checked off. If not, make sure you make an appointment with your advisor. Maybe you need to resubmit transcripts. Maybe you need to do a course substitution to fulfill a course. But for sure, try to make an appointment with an advisor. Don't do it too early. So usually once the semester starts, if you just started that semester, you might want to wait maybe 2.5 months just to give time to finish processing all the transfer credit work. So that's pretty much for the CAAR. I hope you guys learned something, and we'll see you soon.